welcome to the April 3rd edition of yours, the Amateur Hour. This is Mount Madness, pretty much, the vocalized version.
Yours, the Amateur Hour. Who's yours?
It's like yours truly, but like yours, we are like amateur. Like the amateurs.
I get it. I like that. You know what? Let's start each and every show off like that.
Yours, the Amateur Hour, yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So, I'm yours, Ryne Poley.
And I'm yours, Leo Saylor.
Safwan Albi.
Wait, yours.
Oh, I'm yours, Safwan Albi.
Awesome. Good.
I'm yours, Ryne Corin.
No, he's actually ours. He's not yours.
All right,
we're keeping
He
Ryan.
is ours. And it is his birthday today, side note.
As always.
Correct.
So, to start off, we're going to talk about, obviously, the NCAA championship. Who would have thought they would have won by 20? Led by DiVincenzo, the Italian stallion, the sixth man off the bench.
Yeah, Villanova dominated throughout the whole tournament. They didn't really play a close game. They were, without question, the best team in the country going into the tournament, and they came out the best team. And this is the first time we can honestly say in a long time that, without question,
They
the best
deserved
basketball
it.
team in
Yeah.
NCAA won the tournament.
I totally agree.
Yeah, they're like the first team ever to win each game by 10-plus points throughout the entire tournament.
There was no doubt in any game that they had
No.
that they were the best team on the court.
You look at all the Cinderella stories that went on throughout the tournament, including obviously Loyola, Michigan, or I meant Chicago. I'm sorry.
Same
The
difference.
16-1 UMBC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know
Virginia.
all these Cinderella stories. I think that Villanova got lost, and people didn't always give them the attention they deserve because of the Cinderellas happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if those Cinderellas don't happen, I think Villanova is continuing to be hyped the way they should have been, and the result would have been the same. With that said, I think the Cinderellas kind of took away from the national hype about how good Nova really, really is.
Yeah, they had the player of the year this year. What's his name?
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson,
There's just
yeah.
no
Great
weakness
player.
on the team. They have
No.
experience. They have great coaching. They are deep. They
Obviously,
got guys,
three-point shooting.
They got centers that can shoot the three. They got swingmen. They got guys that can play defense on the perimeter.
They just match up well with
no
every
weakness,
team in the nation.
No
Yeah.
weakness on that team. And how about Jay Wright? 2 championships in 3 years. All these blue bloods that we love talking about. Kansas. I was discussing this with Leo
Yeah.
just before. Kansas is known as a top 5 blue blood. They have 2 championships in the past 50 years.
Right.
Villanova has 2 championships in the past 3 years, and now has more championships than Bill Self.
Bill Self now, not Bill Self. What's his name? Villanova's coach.
Jay Wright.
Jay Wright now has as many national championships as both Coach K and Roy Williams. The only 3 in the current
Isn't that
NCAA
insane?
coaching. Yeah,
I thought Coach K had 4 championships
with at least 2.
with at least 2.
Yeah.
And like Coach K has 4, but he's been coaching for what, 40 plus
At
years?
least.
40
yeah.
plus, yeah.
I don't even think Jay Wright has been coaching for 20 years, and he already has 2.
Mhm.
He's on a roll right now and let's get this straight. Villanova doesn't look like they're going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
They still
might.
recruit
Right.
well. Their players stay.
I mean,
They
talking
don't
about
have one-and-done
recruiting,
players.
they don't recruit like top 10
No.
guys. They get the guys that go under the radar
Yes.
but fit into the system.
They go guys that they go in the system. They want to stay. They want to buy into the culture. Of course, they would take the Marvin Bagleys and DeAndre Aytons. We get that, but Jay Wright gets these guys to buy in.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple years. Jalen Brunson, Player of the Year, 3 years. Michael Bridges, multiple years. Spellman, Marshall.
They don't have one and outs.
These guys are going to buy into
They're
their
not
team.
there to get drafted. They're there to
win
play
the
their
national
game,
championship.
play their best, win that championship, and then in turn get drafted.
And that's what Jalen Brunson is now a first-round pick because he stayed 3 years. Michael Bridges is a lottery pick because he stayed and bought into the culture. Villanova, they are right now. They are as powerful and look good in the future and present as any team in college basketball. Any Duke, Michigan State, Kansas, they're right up there. And Jay Wright. Is
I
right
mean,
up
that
there
starts the
with coaches.
debate with should guys stay at least 2 years in college? Because, like, with the factor of them possibly being hurt and missing out on $1 million contract, if they stay in college, they have room to grow and develop as a player, mature, like get used to being on a team that wants to win it all instead of just playing for themselves and the money and the points and the stat line and all that. They sign an agent, they get drafted right away.
Well, you see, I don't want to open up this can of worms. I really don't. But the idea of an alternative league makes so much sense. You make some extra cash. You play year-round. You're playing against men if you choose to play overseas rather than this alternative league.
Or the big
idea.
baller brand.
Or the big baller brand, you know, because that's very reputable. Jello's going to the draft.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I personally, I don't draft him.
No.
I don't.
I don't either. I think you sign him as to a professional tryout. maybe an amateur tryout.
Give him a D-League spot.
Give him a D-League spot as a publicity stunt.
You already have a red flag with him stealing when they were in, what was it, China?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then playing against extremely inferior opponents. I didn't think much of his 39 points a game, whatever he was doing, that doesn't really impress me that much.
Right.
So
I totally agree.
I feel like whoever takes him, they're taking on the baggage of LeVar, and it kind of takes away from him as a player.
Yeah, I mean, publicity is publicity, positive or negative. But like when it comes to the negative context, you don't want him on like the Mavs, who are already tanking as it is. Yeah. They're gonna get a high draft pick anyways.
And then wrapping up the college basketball season, like we could tell, it is very clear by now. Experience wins in March. Loyola Chicago, Michigan, Kansas, Villanova, all experienced teams. Devontae Graham, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges. All of these guys, Mo Wagner, experience wins in March. You can have all your one and dones. You can have your top recruits. If you aren't experienced, you will not win in March.
We'll see what Zion Williamson can do next year.
As I say, Duke has all these three guys coming in, but what we've seen, experience beats a whole bunch of just raw talent.
What Coach K does. Who?
These three big recruits.
Yeah, they're all playing together.
All playing together.
They're gonna play. They're gonna see floor time next year.
Yeah, the 2 forwards and a guard.
Awesome. So they're gonna be true freshmen.
Duke has the possibility, but don't be surprised if they lose like Kentucky when they were platooning 2 years ago.
Right.
A whole bunch of great freshmen. They had 2 starting lineups. They didn't even get to the championship game.
What Coach K doesn't do so great, like he's the best recruiter in the nation in my mind, no doubt. I'm a big Duke guy. I follow like Duke sports all around. But when it comes to like molding them into a system, he plays them to their strengths. He doesn't have like a set like Jim Boeheim with a 2-3 or Jay Wright with like, you know, the pick and roll, give and go. He doesn't do that. He just like lets them play to their strengths and see what happens. And they made a run this year with Grayson Allen and all the experience they had, but like it just wasn't enough. They matched up better with Villanova, and they would have in the national championship. But like they just didn't have that extra little to get over the edge.
Talent was there. I think the will.
The effort was there, but the talent. I mean,
it's still been a double-digit victory for Villanova.
We had the best 2 big man tandem in the nation and Grayson Allen, but like the shooting wasn't completely there.
The point guard play was extremely erratic. Trayvon Duval is talented, but he turns the ball over. He doesn't shoot free throws well. Grayson Allen. I mean, that's experience that you need.
That's why Michigan didn't even like make a like they were up 8-2 at the beginning of the game, and then Villanova just tore them apart. They couldn't shoot well from 3. They shot 2 for like 30 the entire game.
Villanova, this was a complete team, the best team in college basketball, and it was good to see.
And when you have a 6-man that can drop 30 points out of nowhere,
Dante DiVincenzo 31 points, 10 of 13 or 14 shooting.
4 for 5 from 3.
He was absolutely unconscious. He played great defense. That was the underrated part.
He had 3 blocks and the 2-handed swat, LeBron James style in the paint. Yeah. Wow.
DiVincenzo was amazing, and more than likely, he's coming back. The best player in the championship game.
Is he going to be a senior?
I believe so.
Jesus.
And we don't know. Jalen Brunson may go to the draft now because of all his accomplishments. He may come back. I think the only one we know for sure, 100%, is Mikal Bridges going to the draft. He's a top 10 pick.
Brunson's gone.
More than likely, Brunson is gone with all of his accomplishments. But even that, there's still a 50-50 chance with him.
All right, what's next on tap, boys? I think we beat that one.
Yeah, so congratulations to the Villanova Wildcats. Now we're going to move on to the big boys of basketball. NBA.
Let's do it.
We are about a week away from the NBA playoffs starting.
Little question marks surrounding the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry's injury.
Yeah, how about this? The Rockets look like the team in the West. The Cavaliers still look like a team in the East because they have LeBron James. The Warriors are right now snake bitten with injuries. Kevin Durant's been hurt. Klay Thompson's been hurt.
I was going to say, talk about snake bitten. Kevin Durant's on your team. LOL.
Yeah, and then Andre Iguodala has been hurt. Sean Livingston has been battling injuries. This team has been incredibly hit by injuries.
They've been decimated. They really have been. I mean, it's
whoa, big word there.
I can't spell that one, but I can certainly use it. So I can't seem to even think of a time in any sport where this percentage of the team has been hit by injuries, as well as not just this number of players on the team, but the talent level,
the quality.
I mean,
of the
this
players.
is their players. This is what makes the Warriors the Warriors. Without any of these guys, they're hardly even an NBA team.
And here's a big one. More than likely, Steph Curry is not playing in the first round because of his.
Right. Who do they match up with in the first round?
More than likely, the Timberwolves.
That's a good matchup.
Do you guys still think the Warriors can make it to the championship without Steph Curry?
No.
Because even though he won't play the first round,
they won't be the Rockets. They won't be the Rockets if they don't have Steph Curry.
Does Kevin Durant lead them past the Warriors if Steph Curry can't play? Because that is very much up in the air right now. They're reevaluating him when the playoffs start.
He's a player option next year or something like that. I think if there's this whole tandem about like LeBron being better than Durant or Durant better than LeBron. Skip Bayless is irrelevant at this point.
Totally, without a doubt.
Yeah, he loves Durant, but like he hates LeBron at the same time. So I think if Durant can get past this like really tough schedule in the playoffs without Steph Curry, he's now considered like him and LeBron James are tied for the best player in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if Kevin Durant does this with a injury bit Steph Curry, goes to the finals, does what he does last year, completely out. Let's be real, he outplayed LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron played great, but he was better than LeBron. He does this again, the argument's there.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Definitely.
the argument.
It's palpable.
Kevin Durant, he's a superstar. People forget who he was in Oklahoma City and who he still is in Golden State.
I just can't, like, every time I think of Kevin Durant, I think of what could have been with Russ, James Harden, and Durant. Yeah. That trio would have been
that would have been the best big three in the NBA.
Yeah, like better than the Wade, Bosh, and LeBron initial.
Right. 3 MVPs. Harden's going to win the MVP this year, more than likely. Mm-hmm. Him, Durant, Westbrook, all MVPs. Can you believe that? Ridiculous. And they were all on the same team just a few years ago.
And Harden was 6th man of the year that year.
6th man of the year.
Sixth man. He wasn't even on the starting floor.
There was a time where, like, in the playoffs, they were dropping, like, 30 apiece, and Harden was coming off the bench. I mean, like, if one guy doesn't get selfish and leaves the team, Harden. If he doesn't get selfish...
Harden got traded.
Oh, did he really?
Remember,
I thought he got released.
Kevin Martin, and then that's when the Rockets traded him.
Okay.
That was the Thunder's ownership because Sam Presti didn't agree to pay James Harden the extra $2 million it took to keep him. So he traded him. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, what a stupid move that was. Now we're talking about James Harden as one of the top 5 greatest isolation players of all time. And you can certainly make that argument.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
I think you also have to recognize, though, who's getting him the ball. That's a big part of it.
Now he has Chris Paul.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's James Harden's one of the league's best players without Chris Paul.
And closers. Mm-hmm. Fourth quarter clutch, man.
Without a doubt. But with Chris Paul,
makes
he
it that
enters
much better.
himself into a lot of other arguments.
Yeah, because James Harden, he was an MVP candidate the past 2 years without Chris Paul.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the Western Conference playoffs, I think, regardless, even with the Warriors' injuries, I still think it's the Rockets and Warriors. I mean, it's chalk, but that's what it's looking like. The Timberwolves are still a little too young. Yeah. I think they still need a year or two of experience. The Spurs, Kawhi Leonard's not going to play. They're not going to beat anybody without Kawhi Leonard. I like the Trailblazers, but I don't think just Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum is going to get them over the top.
They got to both drop at least 40 for them to be good.
And you got teams like the Nuggets, the Pelicans, they're all fighting. But I don't
without
think
DeMarcus Cousins and the Pelicans, it's already game over. Yeah.
Even with DeMarcus Cousins, they have no wings. They have no...
They got what? Tyreek Evans? Do they still have him?
Yeah, who knows what happened to Tyreek Evans. Like, even with these teams trying, the Warriors and the Rockets are still 1 and 2.
It's just another league ahead of everybody.
That's going to be the conference finals. And I think if everybody's playing, which we hope all teams are at full strength, I think the Warriors get out of the West. What do you guys think about the East? Is it just still LeBron? Is it LeBron versus everybody else?
I think Boston needs another year of experience because isn't Kyrie out the rest of the year? Is he back?
Yeah, he's having a lot of knee problems. They don't know what his status is for the playoffs.
So if Kyrie doesn't come back, they're going to win the East by a landslide. And
because
they're
there's the Sixers, but I don't think Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons can do that themselves. They're still young. They need experience.
Markelle Fultz is back.
Yeah. But
he's
he
playing
doesn't
well.
have regular season experience.
He does not have that, but he looked impressive. He does look impressive. You have to admit that much.
The Raptors, when they see LeBron James, they turn into the baby dinosaurs when they go one-on-one with LeBron James.
Ooh, the baby dinosaurs.
They've had a great year.
Toast them on that one,
They've had a great year, though. DeMar DeRozan's finally shooting some threes. Kyle Lowry is getting less minutes, so he's more fresh.
I like DeRozan. He brings back the classic mid-range jumper game, which is a lost art since Larry Bird left the league.
The Raptors have had a great year, but I still don't see them beating LeBron. When it comes to playoffs, it's a whole different ballgame. Mm-hmm. The Celtics are a team to look out for in the future. They got a lot of pieces.
a lot of youth,
Gordon Hayward is going to come back. Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, all 4 are all-star players, caliber players. And then you have arguably the best coach in the NBA. Yeah. Over Greg Popovich, over Steve Kerr.
Yeah, Steve Kerr's pretty good.
His mind, Brad Stevens' mind, may be the best basketball mind. Remember, he took Butler to 2 national championship games and almost beat Duke.
Lost to my Blue Devils, though.
Came back from the backboard and rim from beating the Duke Blue Devils. So let's not underrate what Brad Stevens is capable of. The Celtics are a team that are on the rise. And then once they get healthy, they can compete. But this year, I don't see it. They still need some experience. Right. I still got the Cavaliers coming out of the East. LeBron James. He's a different beast in the playoffs. I think they'll lose a few more games than they did last year. They only lost 1 game last year. I think it'll be a little bit harder going against the Raptors and then maybe the Celtics. But I still think LeBron gets out of the East, and I think it's the Warriors and Cavs for the 4th time.
I mean, what do you think about LeBron talking about himself like, I should win the MVP? Look what I've done with all these injuries on the team and held the team up and the records and the acclamations and everything. He holds himself to a high standard, and then I guess, like, he overextended his standard, like, beat it and everything. What are you throwing at your own computer?
I mean, this is LeBron
on.
James. I don't personally don't have a problem with. He's great.
I mean,
he's recognizing that he's great.
You can pat yourself on the back, but like, don't say I would give myself the MVP. Like that's confidence, but like he's my favorite player and everything, but that's a little overconfident.
I mean, he has been the MVP of the league for the past 10 years.
Oh, undoubtedly. Like if you want to be realistic, he's the MVP every year.
He's been the MVP, just like Michael. Michael Jordan was the MVP throughout a lot more years than he was.
Yeah.
But like people think it's not right. Think it's chalk. So. But yeah, I don't mind LeBron James I'm great. I'm in my 15th season, still the best player in the NBA. I have no problem with realizing, taking a step back and be like, wow.
Well, we also
I've done a lot.
He entered the league at 19.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still like not. He's not an old guy. He's a veteran, but that doesn't make him an old guy.
But he does have a lot of NBA traction, like big
Without a
boys,
doubt, without a doubt.
NBA traction, 50,000 career minutes plus.
Right.
I got no problem with it. He's
neither.
the best player in the world. He's taking a step back in his 15th season. Wow, I've done a lot of great things in this organization, in the NBA. I got no problem.
I think that was all the records he's broken this year, like by himself, like single career points.
And he still has a good 4 or 5 years of prime
at least.
left.
Like Jordan, if we're talking about age, Jordan ended his career with the Wizards at about like 4 years, 5 years from where LeBron is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like the championship window's closing and everything. I think LeBron just pat himself on the back and saying, "This could be one of my last runs. I'm gonna give myself a little high five here."
I got no problem with it.
Me neither.
And I personally, as much as I want it, I think the Warriors and Cavs, I think the Warriors will still be too much for the Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll go a little bit more than 5 games that I did last year, but I still think it's 6. I think the Warriors will take it. The Cavaliers team is not experienced besides LeBron James, George Hill, Larry Nance, all the new guys. Jordan Clarkson, these guys have no experience.
I mean, we'll see how healthy Steph Curry stays.
That's true.
It's Kevin Durant head to head with LeBron. Then everyone else plays 1-on-1. Let's see how healthy he stays because they match up pretty well after that.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. Let's hit baseball.
Yeah, go Cubs.
Okay, and that'll do a wrap for this edition of Amateur Hour.
So we just got done first weekend games. Opening day. We have a very, very microscopical sample size. But so far, it looks like the Astros and the Nationals are the two it teams, AL and NL.
The Reds are off to a higher start than expected.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Reds are 1-3, a lot better than most people expected.
.250 winning percentage. That's actually higher than Jose Peraza's batting average thus far this season. Fantastic.
We all need to sign a petition to get Jose Peraza out of Cincinnati as soon as possible.
I hate to do it. I love the kid, but he's just not panning out to this point. I'll give him more time. I
Nick
will.
Senzel, we're ready for you.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're ready to
Start the hype.
Yeah.
The next Chris Bryant?
Do what? The next Chris Bryant.
That's
elite.
Bryant.
Chris Bryant won an MVP and Rookie of the Year in 2 years. I wouldn't say the next Chris Bryant.
I don't know.
Senzel has the hitting ability. His
does.
defense, and his defense I know is going to be good because he's had Barry Larkin picking at his. He's been on him.
Yeah,
Barry Larkin has been on.
Hitting
Nick
never
Senzel.
directly translates from minor league to major league, where you just like pick up on the numbers like that. You
Did for
drop
Chris
at least
Bryant.
20
I'll say it did
points.
for Chris Bryant.
Yeah, well, he's unique. He's about 6'6", like
If you're
just a long wingspan.
Well, if you're a great hitter, it'll translate. If you're a great hitter, Senzel is a great hitter. He was the best hitter coming out of his class, just like Chris Bryant was. Top of it, like
It was him and Bryce, and Bryce Harper did the same thing.
Like great hitters, they'll be able to translate, and I believe Nick Senzel, his hitting will translate. His defense is going to be great, as I mentioned. Barry Larkin, one of the greatest shortstops of all time, has been getting on him and personally working with him. So Senzel has all the capabilities to be a superstar.
I think Senzel's going to be a great hitter for sure, but in
Where's he gonna play in the field?
I was going to say
He's going to take Jose Peraza's spot.
he played.
And love everyone over.
I was gonna say he's a shortstop, but all spring training he was playing second base. Like, what was with that?
I mean, that shouldn't be a big deal. Manny Machado, he played a lot of.
He was at third base in college, and that's why I was so surprised because I think that instead of seeing Senzel take Peraza's spot, I think we'll see Senzel take Suarez's spot, and then Suarez take Peraza's spot because keep in mind, Suarez is a shortstop by trade.
Yeah.
When we traded for him, he was a shortstop for his entire life.
Yeah, but he's getting a little big to be a shortstop nowadays. I mean,
He's
like,
got a cannon.
Yeah, he does have a cannon, but like you see what Starlin Castro did? He gained like 30 pounds and then moved over to second base and third base the rest of the year for the Yankees.
Yeah.
And then he dropped like 40 more pounds and moved back to short. Like you got to be nimble and quick
Follow
to
the
play
Hanley
short.
Ramirez route and then play a terrible left field for 1 year, and then they'll stick you at first base.
Yeah, Senzel has experience.
Yeah,
he
but you
can
can't
play
do that because Votto's over there.
shortstop or third base. He has experience at both, and
Yeah.
whatever. I think a lot of people agree with me. You got to get Peraza out of there, and you got to stick him in there because Peraza has
give him a little
shown
more
no
time.
offensive ability.
You give him a
Again,
little
we're
more
very
time.
early in the season. Give him a little time to mature.
Yeah, guys, we have a very microscopical size. We're 4 games into the season.
I am
Astros and
more,
Nationals may have it now, but we're early.
I'm more apt to take Billy out of the lineup than Jose Peraza.
Easy. Oh my God.
No, I don't know about that. Billy has a hit this year. Jose Peraza doesn't have a hit this year.
1 hit. Sorry.
Yeah, okay,
Billy has
1 hit. But 1 is better than 0. And Peraza struck out also 6 out of his 12 times.
Yeah.
Half the time he's going
But
up as like he's striking out.
that's a byproduct of the small sample size. Because while Billy's strikeout rate is huge, Peraza, while he doesn't walk enough or hit enough,
It's even
he
huger.
almost never strikes out. He had a closer's strikeout rate to Joey Votto last year than anyone else on the team.
Which is insane, isn't it?
Which is insane. Now, I'm not saying he had a good year last year, because Peraza certainly didn't. He finished hot. He didn't have a good year, but he struck out very little, which is an accolade we give Votto, so we should do the same for Jose.
He's got to get it together because he knows Nick Senzel is coming up. He knows there's a target on his back. This is a production business. You aren't producing.
You want numbers?
What are you
got to
doing
do
for
it
me?
now.
What are you doing for me? And what are you doing for me now? If you're not getting the job done, you're gone.
So it'll be interesting to see. Let's talk about Ohtani a little bit.
Oh yeah, Shohei Ohtani.
Pretty impressive outing the other
6
day.
innings, 3 runs.
I was
quality
surprised he was on the opening day lineup, but
Yes.
like he was a kind of a publicity stunt, kind of like we're shot in the dark here. Let's see what he does in the big league level. Maybe send him down after a while. No, he's doing all right.
He got a base hit when he went up to bat opening day, and he had a quality outing, 6 innings, 3 runs. That's
Yeah,
his
you can't
quality.
blame him about that for a major league debut. You really can't.
I mean, the next Babe Ruth.
I don't know. We'll see. Will he
Yeah.
hit 745 home runs?
I personally wouldn't want to be like Babe Ruth. To me, honestly, I'm a big fan of his story, but Babe Ruth is the most overrated player.
Overrated.
Excuse me?
The
was-
best of his time ever.
Yeah, the best of his time.
Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig was twice the player Babe Ruth was. Babe Ruth was just a 6'4" fat slob who
hit
smoked
bombs.
Agreed.
and
Lou
Bombs.
Gehrig not only was twice the player as Babe Ruth, he was about 10 times the person as Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth plays today.
Was a
jerk.
horrible person. Yeah, I'll agree to that. He's a horrible guy.
He was
Love
smoking
kids,
stogies
but he
since he was 4.
Yeah, but he couldn't help that. He was an orphan. He was
smoking stogies when he was 4.
Okay.
We all romanticize Babe Ruth because he played in this era. He hit 714 home runs. He's America's
We
pastime.
love him because he's all about America. America stands for like pride and being cocky.
And
He's
apparently-
calling shots and trotting bases and shouting at pitchers while he's
While
rounding
also
them.
being a fat
he just,
slob.
And he just
Yeah.
happens to throw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah,
No.
it just represents America.
He was also playing against the same 3 teams over and over again. Babe Ruth plays in this era. Majority of the time, he may not even be an MLB player.
Yeah, but I'm talking
You
about
can
the
say that
best.
about anyone from that era, though. You look at their swings; they can't catch up to a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
No.
Although
Like-
they said Walter Johnson was throwing like 105 back in
Yeah,
the
Walter
day.
Johnson, Cy Young. I mean, the pitching was
Yeah.
named after him. Honus Wagner. He played in the 1800s.
And it's the dead ball era, too, so the balls didn't go as far as they do now.
Yeah.
It's interesting stuff to think about. Also, maybe we talked about it on this last one. Stop me if we did, but the Rockies are no longer putting the balls in the humidor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did we bring
yes.
that up last time? Or
Yeah,
no?
I think we did.
All right. Well, then that's a little side note for the second time if you weren't listening last
Talking
time.
about Nolan Arenado and how he could possibly
Right.
be MVP. Coors Field, beautiful field, most hitter-friendly ballpark.
We'll see how it pans out for him the rest of the year because I had him as an MVP until that news came about.
Yeah, personally, I had him winning the MVP in the National League. I had Trout in the AL, Nolan Arenado in the NL. We'll see what happens now with the different changes.
Anyway, what else we got to?
Any Chell news?
Slow week in the Chell universe.
Talking about Ovechkin with a milestone.
Yeah, Ovechkin hit 600 a couple weeks ago, so that's exciting news for him. We're wrapping it up. Pretty similar timing as the NBA. Playoffs here starting pretty soon.
College
Mike
basketball
Jackets
just
should be making
ended.
it.
Football and basketball are officially done.
This is
Right.
the most wonderful time of the year. Like the past
Start
month
of
and
baseball,
yeah.
NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, March Madness.
The NFL comes back in the fall right after that. It's
right.
the most wonderful time of the year.
It's been a great
And
time.
Christmas
great
has
time
nothing
for
on
sports.
True.
We had the Super
But
Bowl.
it did snow in the past couple days.
It did snow, so it's
It did
basically
snow.
Christmas.
It's basically Christmas.
Yeah.
Where's Kris Kringle?
So now we'll be moving on into baseball, a vast majority of baseball.
Thank God.
Because
Yeah.
basketball season's over, football season's over. The NBA playoffs, as we discussed, we'll be following these as time goes by.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it'll be a baseball-centric. The NFL draft is coming up. We'll talk about that here. in
Looking
the next
ahead,
podcast.
Johnny Manziel's return is in full force. He's lighting up
Yeah,
the
he's
summer league.
Patriots
He's
are
lining
thinking
up
about
pro
it.
days, pro day workouts.
I
Texas
mean-
A&M and San Diego State's pro day.
There's rumors that the Patriots are looking at him. You know.
You know, I'm not against Johnny Manziel. I personally wouldn't give him a chance.
I wish the
but
best for him. He was my favorite player when he was in college.
I hope he gets.
I have a jersey.
Yeah.
I hope he. I
You
hope
have like
he gets
100
right
jerseys
as a
now.
person.
Right.
As a person, as a human being, I hope everything is going good. I hope he gets the help he needs.
Yeah.
In the NFL, if somebody wants to take a random shot at him, sure. But even when he was in the NFL, he wasn't producing as an NFL.
He was playing for the Browns. You can't just judge somebody because they're on the Browns.
Put it this way, he'll be better than Tebow.
Yeah.
I do trust Johnny
Put
Manziel more than
it,
Tebow.
put it that way.
Tebow did win a playoff game, though.
Did he?
Tebow won a playoff
His
game.
defense
Did
won a
he?
playoff game in a 3-yard slant that Demarius Thomas took to the house on.
At the end
I
of
think
the day,
Jesus
Tim,
had a bigger hand in that game than Tim Tebow.
and in his minor league career. 'cause,
Even
like,
in
he's
the
on,
year
like,
where
too
Tim
hard.
Tebow had that magical run, they still wouldn't let him throw the ball more than 15 times a game. Let's remember that.
Let's not forget that one. And it was about a 14 out of 50 incompletion.
But at the end of the day, Tim Tebow won a playoff game. So you can't just scratch it out of the record books.
That's more than Andy Dalton can say.
It's a lot
that is
more.
more than
That's
Andy
true. That is more than Andy Dalton can say.
So does that mean Tim Tebow's better than Andy Dalton?
No.
Yes.
In my mind, absolutely.
No, absolutely not.
Sign Tebow right now.
One playoff win does not mean you're better than somebody else.
I don't know. Brady's got more playoff wins than Andy Dalton. Therefore, Brady's better than Dalton.
Yeah.
Right? So if Tebow's got more playoff wins, then Tebow's better
It's
than
just
Dalton.
logic, man. It's
It's
1-1.
logic, bro.
Well, Eli Manning has more Super Bowls than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is stratospheres ahead of Eli Manning as a quarterback.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
Stratospheres ahead
You're
of Eli
right.
Manning
You're
as a
right. You're
quarterback.
right.
Personally, I think I would take Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. Who plays a quarterback position better? You could give me all your Super Bowls.
Can of worms for another day, my man.
Yeah.
Aaron
Can of
Rodgers
worms
over
for
Tom, but
another
yeah,
day.
Also, I
another
think
day.
next week we're gonna start the LeBron James Michael Jordan
Oh,
discussion.
man.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
big one.
boy.
This
Look-
is the biggest can of worms there is.
This is the biggest can of worms. This is the biggest jar of peanut butter. This is the biggest squeezed bottle of jelly you've ever seen. It's a big one.
Yeah, next week we'll get into the NFL draft that is coming up. We'll get into some debates. We'll get into anything more in sports. Before we go, let's mention the Real Madrid-Juventus game.
Wow.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
If
doing
anybody,
Cristiano Ronaldo things.
if
you
anybody
didn't
was
see it-
watching that game live, incredible. The greatest goal I've ever watched ever.
7.
Period.
All you
Ever.
gotta say is 7.
7.
CR7.
Wow. It was, like, to describe it for you, we don't have the live broadcast here with the video coverage, but basically somebody crossed into the box after Ronaldo started a counterattack. He dished and gave and go. Ronaldo's sitting in the middle of the box, like right around where Wayne Rooney had his vintage bicycle kick. A little further out, though, about 15 yards out. He's what, 10 feet in the air, foot about 15 feet in the air, strikes it in the very corner, makes Buffon look like an idiot.
Buffon is just staying there. He didn't even
Yeah,
try.
didn't even try. He just knew, and he was like, guys, what are we supposed to do about this?
And on top of scoring that amazing goal, he also had another goal and assist.
Yeah, and an assist. It cements him as like the greatest Champions League player, greatest Juventus killer, greatest soccer player, greatest striker. It puts him in that category so much better than it did.
Good thing I wore my Real Madrid track jacket today. Shout out to CR7.
Yeah,
Great. Glad to hear you guys are bandwagon fans.
bandwagon fan. I'm just appreciating. I'm a Juventus fan. Like, I wanted to see them win today because I'm Italian and everything. But like,
Fair enough.
it's just I admire greatness like LeBron James.
But yeah, we are going to wrap things up, guys. We finished basketball season. Moving forward, we'll get a lot into baseball, NBA playoffs. We'll talk about the draft. So we got a lot of good things coming up. Congratulations again to Villanova. We are going to call it in, guys. For Leo, Ryne Korangel, Safwan Alvi signing off.
Yours truly.
Toodles.